The Judean hills, Luke 1, verses 5 to 8. Luke 1, verses 5 to 8 says, "In the time of King Herod of Judea, there was a priest named Zechariah, who belonged to the priestly division of Abijah. And his wife Elizabeth was also a descendant of Aaron. Both of them were upright in the sight of the Lord, observing all the Lord's commandments and regulations blamelessly. But they had no children, because Elizabeth was barren, and they were both well along in years. Once when Zechariah's division was on duty and he was serving as priest before God, he was chosen by lot, according to the custom of the priesthood, to go into the temple of the Lord and burn incense." The Judean hills. Sometimes we forget the Christmas story, as the Gospel of Luke records it, begins with an elderly couple in the Judean hills, Zacharias and Elizabeth. They were both very old, yet both were faithfully serving the Lord. One day, as Zacharias fulfilled his duties in the temple, the angel Gabriel appeared to him, announcing the birth of a son, John the Baptist, forerunner to the Messiah. In the next chapter, Luke 2, we're introduced to a young couple, Joseph and Mary, and the story continues. But these two chapters tell us something special. We're never too old or too young to serve the Lord at Christmas and all the time. That's good. I'm going to back that up and read that one more time. We're never too old or too young to serve the Lord at Christmas and all the time. We should especially learn something from Zacharias and Elizabeth. Not only were they busy in the Lord's work, though well advanced in years, that's another word for they're old, but they did so despite heartache. In the past, they had pleaded with God for a son, but they had remained childless. At some point, they decided to trust God with their burden and continue working with a good attitude and joyful faithfulness. The Lord saw that, and He honored them. Whatever your age, trust God with all that comes and goes, and serve Him with all your vim and vigor. Haha, haven't heard that in a while, vim and vigor. Let's go back and read a little bit. It talks about Zacharias and Elizabeth. They're both very old, way past childbearing years. But what were they doing? Were they sitting around pouting about it? No, they were both in the temple. They were both helping other people. They were both worshiping God and serving God and doing what we should be doing all the time. So even if you're old or even if plans haven't turned out the way you think, it's always important to be serving God. And then we see in Luke 2, we're introduced to Mary and Joseph. The story continues, and it talks about how they are very young. And it says, we're never too old or too young to serve the Lord at Christmas or all the time. So at Christmas time, it seems like we're more eager to be helping people, right? We give and we help people and everything, throw some money in the red bucket, and we buy gifts for families who don't have any gifts. But we should be serving God all year long. So let's remember that. We're never too old or too young to serve God at Christmas time or all around the year. Just no matter what time it is, we can be serving God. And then I love it, talking about Elizabeth and Zacharias. They were busy doing the Lord's work, well advanced in years, and they had deep heartache. In the past, they had pleaded with God for a son, but they remained childless. But at some point, they decided to trust God with their burden and continue working with a good attitude and joyful faithfulness. God saw that and honored them. And I love it. Not only were they serving, but they were serving with joy. That's a very important part to remember right there. They were serving with joy. And God saw that, and He rewarded them with a son. So I hope today you can remember, you're never too old, you're never too young. It's good to serve at Christmas time, but you can serve all year long. And while we're serving, even in heartache, we can serve with joy. And God sees that, and He rewards us, and He's always with us. So I hope today you have a wonderful day serving other people around you with joy. And we'll see you back here tomorrow for more of God's Word. And you can order your own copy of Walking with Jesus by Dr. David Jeremiah by going to davidjeremiah.org or by calling Turning Point at 877-998-0222. And I would love to answer any question that you may have about faith in Jesus. You can contact me through my website, nancyjoytoyou.com. And I hope you have a wonderful day growing your faith in Jesus.